Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is a welfare to well off video. So, many of y'all know, moved to Michigan not even 8 years ago. It was in late June of 2018. Less than $800 borrowed money in my pocket. A truck I owed money on to an ex. I ended up living in a crack motel for the first 6 weeks till I was able to get a land contract on this house. I got in a car accident right at around the 3-month mark, and I had a pistol in my car and got a felony, so it brought my earnings capability down immediately from the 6-figure level to $12.50 an hour. That's what I started working for, because even though I'm college educated and I have a master's degree level of education, I don't even have an associate's degree because I can't do, higher level math for beans. So there we go. On top of that, I had to sue the land contract holder because they were trying to screw me out of this property. It was a nightmare. I was in the dumps. No plumbing in my house when I moved in, pooping in a bucket, holes in my roof, holes in my walls. Had to rebuild the front and the back wall of this house, yada, yada, yada. So that's where I came from, heating hot water near the register so my kids could have a warm bath in the morning of November and December, when I would just hose myself off with cold water and keep stepping most of the time. Sometimes I'd boil water and, give myself a bird bath if I didn't want to deal with cold. But that's where I was at. And now, well off. Now, I ain't rich. I am Sultan Al Ghuzul. But, I'm the Duke of Fartington. Let's face it, we are still in a feudal society. Feudalism is alive and well. It is the truth. But I'd rather be the Duke of Fartington than the groom of the stool, right? I'd rather be the Duke of Fartington than the cesspool cleaner, right? So that's the situation I'm at. So what is well off then? Everybody's definition is going to be different. I ain't talking about here in my garage and the delusion that everybody's going to be a multimillionaire doing social media marketing and NFTs. No, that's bullcrap, man. What I'm saying is having more than enough money stacked in the bank in case of an emergency, getting assets ready for actual retirement, and being able to enjoy the time that you have, that you work so hard for. Enjoy the money that you have that you work so hard for, having the time to enjoy that. So essentially, being semi-retirable or retirable. Now, what does that mean? You're not going to retire. You're not going to semi-retire. You're going to keep doing what you do, but you could. You could live that lifestyle if you want. Now, myself, alhamdulillah, going from what I just explained to where I'm at now, less than 8 years later, if I really don't want to work that much, or God forbid there's an emergency, with the level, with the income that I make and the low level of expenses that I have, I only have to work a day and a half, 2 days out of the week, maximum. If I really cut things down, a day pays my bills, feeds my family, puts gas in the tank. So, how do we do that? How do we get there? Real-time example. Now, last 2 years for me has been rough. Last year, there was a 4 or 5 month stint. I didn't make any money because of a financial mistake. I made some here and there, but essentially, it was like working for free, living with no paycheck for about 4 months, right? So I burned through a lot of my savings. Alhamdulillah, I still have some. But that's where I was at. But I wasn't just, sitting there doing nothing. And even when work was slow this winter, my wheels were still turning, thinking about the future, thinking about what I was going to do. So first off, obviously I've been in the garage, kennels behind me. These things haven't been used yet. There was a whole bunch of stuff that happened that prevented me from opening in the last couple years. Inshallah ta'ala, I'll be able to open this year. But there's some stuff I got to do. So they're filled with construction stuff right now. They've just been storage. So first off, that construction stuff, thinking of the future. Welfare to well off, right? In here, I don't want to move this drywall in front, but this is foam board for showering and cement board for tile and all that kind of stuff. I got a bunch of wood and everything here. So like that wood's worth buku bucks. I got it for free after a demo. I saved it. I pulled all the nails out, whatever, because this is old Michigan wood. Super hard to find, almost impossible to get a color match for if you need to make a repair. So normally something that's going to sell for, you know, $8 a linear foot pre-finished, I'm going to sell for like $20 or $30 a linear foot plus the labor on that. Just because no one else has it available and has the skill and expertise of this type of material to set it. So that's one. The foam board, the cement board. Let's look at the foam board. Normally like $25 a board retail. If you're buying Curdy, it's like almost 40, I think, retail a board. I got it for like $5 or $6 a board. It's not damaged. It's not discontinued. It was overstocked that they had to get rid of. When I saw it, I barely had any cash at the time. This is during, you know, trying to scrimp and save. You know, I just came off of a really big job, but I don't have a whole bunch of extra cash. But all the extra cash, almost all the extra cash that I had, my discretionary, my play money, instead of playing with my money, I dropped it on that. Now, I got some bathrooms in my house I want to redo, but it's more than enough for that. I have enough for like 4 or 5 bathrooms in there. And I have it set there. So I already do a 10 to 20% markup on materials when I do a large job anyway. Cost of doing business, right? So now, not only do I do that markup, but since I got it so cheap, I'm marking up retail price. It's what you do as a contractor. So now that material is pure profit for me. Alhamdulillah, thinking ahead. Next is, as I said, the kennels. I'm working on them. Purple wood, the purple pile. That purple pile at Home Depot, 70% off. Every time I go to a Home Depot, I look at that purple pile because I have projects at my house that I got to do, and I'll explain some of those to you in a second. And I buy the purple wood. It's damaged, it's got some twists, it got some bows, but if you know how to work with wood, you can separate out what is usable. So that purple pile, I go through it and I buy up everything that I can 70% off. You'll get like, say, a 2x16, and the last like foot of it has got chunks ripped out of it, or it's twisted kind of, but you can still use it. You can cut the bad parts off, whatever, and you're getting 2x4x8s, essentially. You're getting a good amount of lineal for a very cheap price. Sheet goods, it's even better. It's got some dings in the corner. You can cut 16 inches off. You got to stagger that anyway when you run sheeting. So anyhow, good to check that purple pile. Sometimes I'll even find like aluminum flashing or whatever in there. Not supposed to go for 70% off, but I'll grab all I can that I need from that. And then when I go to the front, they're like, oh, we can't sell it for 70%. But 90% of the time, I'm like, hey, it was already there. I already picked it. It's already listed. They'll still give me the 70%. And then they'll put the rest on that 10 to 20% pile that they're supposed to sell that stuff for. But I'll still get my 70. And the other 90, the rest of that time, like I'm still able to get more than that 10 to 20% discount. I'm like, hey, man, I already picked this, whatever. Because I'm cordial, I'm polite. I know the people at the Home Depots I go to. So they work with me, mashallah. So I'm going to be using that actually on these kennels because I did make the mistake of running pea gravel. And it's just getting muddy. It's hard to clean the poop. So, and I also screwed up this gable when I rebuilt the garage. I set it back an extra 1.5 inches that I shouldn't have. So I'm going to take my 2x6s and I'm going to stack them for the stringer for an awning. And I'm going to run that awning about 10 feet out this way. And then I'm going to run it, boom, down that way to cover the kennels. And then I got some crushed rock that I've been saving from jobs and whatever. And I'm going to, dig that up, mix some crushed rock in with the pea gravel and pour 4-inch concrete slab on all these runs. So it's going to make it a lot cleaner when I actually do open for business. And then I'm going to have an awning over here so I can start working on things like this more. Because it rains a lot in Michigan. Like my garage got this 36-inch door I didn't roll up because this is for a different kind of business. So I don't want to work on any vehicles in here. I'm not pulling vehicles in and out. So I got this little garden tractor for free. Client moved into a house. It was sitting out there on the curb. They were going to trash it. They have enough money that they pay somebody else to do their maintenance anyway. I'm like, hey man, I'll take it. I could probably fix it, right? SubhanAllah. I replaced the spark plug. And I did a little mini clean on the carb, which is damn near new, but I didn't know that. I cleaned it out anyway because it wasn't starting. And it just wasn't starting because the carb was so dry. I didn't think to check that first. And I sprayed some gas in that carb. Boop, started right up. Like, had to jump it, of course. So, got to refill the battery or get a new battery, new tire, throw some paint. All in all, I'm going to be like $200 into this thing. I got to replace a transmission bearing probably in it. Super easy transmission to work on. So I'll be in like $250, and I should be able to sell it, make about $900 to $1,100 profit. And then my goal with that is to take that profit and flip it into another one until I get enough for a mini excavator, because I can make a lot of money with that. So the thing is, I got a rototiller from a different job. It needs a tire patch, and I put the spark plug in. It just needs a tire patch on it. That's all it needs left. That thing runs. It's an older rototiller, but it runs. It farts, man. And it rips up dirt, tears it up, and that's all I need it for, man. I got enough on my own property. I want to, properties I want to do some landscaping on. But labor for rototilling ain't cheap, man. It's another service I can offer. So, but I'm gonna have this awning here so I can work on these things and not have to have them in the rain, so on and so forth. So, thinking ahead, these are all things I'm thinking ahead. As I'm building the awning, I've been collecting gas piping for leftover from gas lines that I do. And I'm going to be running that gas piping from here, under my concrete, up here. And then I have gas appliances. I got to put my gas in anyway. I have another furnace I'm putting in here. So it's going to be heated in the winter for the dogs. But I also run gas appliances in here, and I have to repair gas appliances every once in a while. I get them for free a lot of the time. So now I can test them in here, and then I sell the gas appliances. I get them for free. I put $10 worth of parts, maybe an hour or two of labor into it, make a couple $100, right? Thinking how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to make it more efficient, and how I'm trying to transition to working more from home and doing stuff that's less hard on my body. Now, I only just turned 40, but I don't want to deteriorate my body faster than I can. And for instance, the excavator, it's a higher yield for less physical work. So then thinking ahead, materials. When I do jobs for a roof, for instance, I do a couple roofs a year, usually a small garage or a shed. Sometimes I'll do 15, 20 square. Sometimes, most times, no. I'm usually doing a 6 or 7 square garage, maybe a 2 square shed, whatever. Fine with it. Pays the bills, makes me more than enough money. But the point is, make sure that on my contracts, and I'm transparent. I tell the clients, feel like I am taking the rest of these shingles or these tiles or whatever that are worth under a certain amount, and it's on the contract depending on the scope of the job. Unopened, I can keep a certain amount. Opened, I can keep a certain amount. Now, if they don't have a specific preference on color, I always buy the same color and brand, so that way I have a bunch of shingles stacked. And then I have a bunch of odd ones out from when I do shingle repairs on people's houses anyway, whatever. So I have a bunch of shingles stacked, so when I have to build my awning, when I want to put a roof on my own stuff, I have the same color shingles. I get my shingles for free. I have, I save the extra felt paper for the roofs. I save the extra house wrap. All that other stuff I save, so when I'm working on my projects, I don't pay for materials. And I build it up over, a year here, 2 years there, until I need it for a project. Or I charge a client for what they're going to buy it for retail, but I already have it. And so say they only need half a roll, and I have half a roll. Okay, I charge them for half a roll. I'm not going to charge them for a full roll, so it saves them money, but I get free profit because I got that material for free, ethically, transparently. I didn't steal it. I'm not shysting a client, but I'm able to bake a little bit of extra cream off the top, but I'm having to think forward into the future to do it and having the storage capacity to do so. It's another project this year, building more storage space. Obviously, I'm running out here. So, getting to that well-off state, getting to that spot where you're semi-retirable, or inshallah ta'ala, getting to be retirable at an early age, It takes some foresight. It takes some fiscal management. It takes some responsibility. And you don't have to be a contractor to do this. You can be a computer technician. You don't have to be self-employed to do this. You can be employed, working a W-2 job and do this. You're going to have to be working an extra day or two out of the week when you first get started to do it. But, you know, if you're good with tech, it might be that you have, I don't know if people even do web design anymore with AI, but you have something that you do on the side that, you know, you might only get a job every 3 months when you're starting, but it's an extra $2,000 every 3 months for a couple days worth of work. And then you scale that, and then you never quit your other job. You just have that, and then you might spend it to buy something else, like, I don't know, you have an online store or something that you put that money into to make more money for you, or you just put it in your rainy day fund, whatever. Like, I don't know your industry, I don't know what you do, but I'm just giving you a little bit of what I've done in order to make it so I can keep my lifestyle the way it is and have to theoretically, but not practically. I don't practice working less. I always want to be doing something. But theoretically, you could work less, and then when it does actually have to come into practice, like you're a dummy like me and you make a screw up and you don't get paid for several months, or God forbid there's a health issue that you're having, you have that available, and you're not like the vast majority of Americans who are 1, maybe 2 paychecks away from financial disaster. So be smart. Think of the future like the Quran and the 7 fat cows and the 7 lean cows, man. Think ahead. And that's it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.